Will Chris Hani's killer, Janusz Walus, return to Poland? There's anticipation in that country that he will, and there are concerns of what that could bring. The extreme right-wing assassin is being increasingly glorified. His name and image emblazoned on banners at extremist gatherings, protests, even at football matches. Now, remember, Janusz Walus started a 2-year parole period on the 7th of December 2022. You can also remember he was stabbed in jail soon after the Court ruled that he must be released. In the meantime, over the last 2 years, the South African government has revoked his residency status, so he actually has no legal status in this country. What's also been happening, it's been advertised on Polish social media that he will appear on a Polish YouTube channel on the 10th of December in Poland. In fact, the tweet of the host of that show says, on December the 10th, my guest in peak hour in studio, Janusz Walus. He will be there. So we've contacted Janusz Walus's lawyer, Julian Knight, who says he's being kept in the dark. It's a question we have to ask to the Department of Home Affairs. He says, I've been writing to the state attorney for months and I've gotten no reply. We also approached the Department of Correctional Services, and this is what they told us. This is Singabakun Komalu, spokesperson for Correctional Services.
Mr. Janusz Walus remains on parole until such time that placement period comes to an end. What then happens thereafter will have to be directed to the Department of Home Affairs, as Correctional Services will play no role on matters related to his citizenship or if he has to be taken to the country of origin. As Correctional Services, we'll also want to make it clear that we are unable to confirm the date within which that parole period will expire due to the security reasons, as we are all privy and witness what happened when Mr. Janusz Walus was to be placed out following the Constitutional Court judgment.
I'm joined now on the line by a Polish academic, anti-racism campaigner, founder of the Never Again Association, Dr. Rafal Pankowski. Good morning, Rafal. Just simply from what I'm hearing from the Department of Correctional Services, the fact that Mr. Walus has no status in South Africa, there's the likelihood that he will leave South Africa. I just don't know when. But what have you heard in Poland? Is the anticipation of his return to that country?
Well, yes, indeed. Like you mentioned, it's been announced that he would participate in a major interview on a major channel on the 10th of December. The way this announcement was formulated suggests that he will be there in Warsaw in person, and already for a few weeks there has been some talk about his imminent return to Poland, which I would say is not really great news, because that would signal a sort of triumph for not just for Walus personally, but also for the movement around him that has formed in recent years in Poland and other countries, a movement that glorifies what Walus stands for, white supremacy and violence.
Just describe that movement. I said earlier that increasingly Janusz Walus's image, his name is being bandied about and brandished on banners at extreme right-wing gatherings, even at football games where you have what's known as ultras, these ultra fans of a right-wing bents raising up major banners, essentially glorifying the image of Janusz Walus. What would it mean for Poland on his return?
Well, that's right. Especially at football stadiums, the banners glorifying Janusz Walus have been present in Poland and outside of Poland for the last decade or so. This movement has been growing. Also at street marches such as the Poland Independence Day march on the 11th of November. Over the years, we have seen banners with the image of Janusz Walus, and yes, it has become a movement of sorts. Janusz Walus has become a symbol of the violent white racist movement in Poland and outside of Poland, and there has been an anticipation in that movement for Janusz Walus to return to Poland, and I am afraid he is likely to receive a hero's
Yeah.
welcome.
It's not a hero's welcome by the majority. I have seen statements, I must admit, tweets in Polish, which I've had to translate using an online translator, but in response to the host of a particular news show in Poland or to that channel, after they've advertised that Janusz Walus will be in studio in Warsaw on the 10th of December, asking why are you interviewing a murderer? Why are you interviewing a neo-Nazi? It's a return that you anticipate will be welcomed by some, but overall, is Poland, including the Polish government, worried about his return to the country?
Well, thank you for saying what you just said. Of course, Poland also has a proud tradition of anti-racism. Which is my tradition, and it is the tradition that the Never Again Association is a part of. So certainly not everybody in Poland is happy about Janusz Walus and his return to Poland, and certainly not everybody in Poland approves of what Janusz Walus stands for. From what we know, he is not a reformed man, and he is definitely well, a symbol of something that many people in Poland don't approve of. But there is a movement of Janusz Walus supporters in Poland, unfortunately.
Dr. Rafal Pankowski, really appreciate your time. He's the founder of the Never Again Association. I'm sure it's a chapter. The Constitutional Court ruled he must be released on parole 2 years ago. That period of correctional supervision is over. His residency has been revoked. He no longer has status, so he must now go home. I'm sure it's a chapter that we would like to close in South Africa, but if you have a thought on that, 0214460567.